say. I put my thoughts on paper and I'll write it right away. 'Cause I'm gonna write me a letter and mail it on to you. I put my letter in a letterbox and let it drift on through. Let it drift on through. Here I go, I'm sending a letter. Here I go, I'm sending a letter. Here I go, I'm sending a letter to you.
Mail art is essentially any type of envelope, whether it's a rectangular envelope, a square envelope, a fabric envelope, a plastic envelope. It's any way to carry your letter through creativity. A lot of people think that they have to go and purchase a plain old A4 envelope or number 10 white envelope and then stick some stickers on it and then write an address. But really, mail art could be a magazine cover that you really, really liked, and you folded it up and you put tape along the sides and you stuck some stamps on it and you put someone's address. It's essentially any way to express your creativity.
Well, people have tried to define mail art and have done so in so many different ways. When I think of sending a letter, I think, why do I have to use an envelope? Why can't I just use something else? I've taken an 8-track and busted it open, took the film out and wrote my message on the film in white gel pen, then sent it.
My definition of mail art is a way of expressing your personality and your creativity through this personal letter and forming a friendship because of that.
My definition of mail art is essentially any letter that's decorated in a way that is not conventional. So for example, this one is a metric themed letter.
The way I have found out about mail art was when I went to Europe in the 1970s. I noticed a stamp on several of the mailboxes that said Fluxus. I asked the friend I was staying with what it meant, and he said go talk to Ray Johnson. Ray Johnson, as it turns out, is the father of mail art. I wrote to Ray, and he took me under his wing in the community. He put me in touch with more pen pals and wrote to me himself. He really wanted to get everyone sending letters, and it was inspiring. Fluxus was all about alternative art practices in the 60s, and it is difficult to talk about the history of mail art because it is more about the here and now. It is always in flux, ever changing.
I started sending letters to strangers because I was 6 months into living in a new town with no friends. I thought I'd give an alternative way of meeting people a try. As someone recovering from depression, I found that the mere thought that I have friends out there in the world waiting to hear from me makes me feel so much less alone.
When my son was born, I had postnatal depression that turned into chronic obsessive compulsive disorder, agoraphobia, and social phobia. For me, pen paling has truly been a lifeline. It has. And my pen pals have helped me through some very tough times, and I hope I have helped them through their bad times and been there with them to celebrate their joys.
In 1991, I decided I wanted to be a good patriotic American and write to a few of the service members. I focused on one name in particular, Christopher Reed. This past December, Captain Reed, now Colonel Reed, and I celebrated our 23rd wedding anniversary. Yes, I married my pen pal.
One of the projects that we got to do through a friend of mine in Victoria, she was going to school with a girl who was diagnosed with a disease that didn't allow her to go back to Ontario to be with her family. She was actually bedridden in Victoria. And so she, her friend, the girl that I was snail mailing with, reached out to a bunch of us and said, listen, my friend is bedridden, she can't go home to see her family, she's feeling really down, could you send her a letter? So a bunch of us, I think by the end, we all reached out to all of our Instagram friends, and the girl got about 100 letters from total strangers, just giving her some, words of encouragement, sending her little goodies in the mail. We sent her teddy bears and chocolate bars and packets of tea and books and little types of miniature board games and all sorts of things just to, make her feel more at home.
L'envoi de lettres est une forme indescriptible d'art. Il y a quelque chose de très significatif dans le courrier. En français, nous employons le mot bienveillance, qui caractérise vraiment cette forme d'expression. En anglais, les dictionnaires traduisent ce mot par kindness. Je ne suis pas satisfait de ce terme. La bienveillance est une manière active de se positionner envers les autres, d'écouter tout ce qu'ils disent sans jugement, de respecter leur identité, leur histoire personnelle, leur expérience et leur message dans leur intégralité, en cherchant toujours à créer une relation basée sur le respect. L'acceptation et le soutien qui créent un climat de confiance. À mon avis, le mot anglais kindness n'exprime pas forcément tout cela.
I like to give people things, so snail mail is my way of showing my generosity and that I'm thinking of other people.
Snail mail is so great. It's one of my favorite things. I love that you can talk to anybody around the world. I love that you can see the effort someone made for you. I love coming home and finding all these letters in my mailbox. I love opening the letters. I love being able to buy stationery that I know someone will love and appreciate. And it's not going anywhere. People say it's dead, and I don't think so at all. It's really having a revolution. People are craving contact, and you can stare at a screen all day and not really feel fulfilled by the end of the day. And if you've got something that someone hand wrote to you, you just feel so treasured and worth it. And mail is such a key to communication all over the world.
I think the great thing about mail art is that it's this democratic art form that is for everyone. It has sort of this, like a utopian notion that anyone can participate and be a mail artist. There are no good mail artists and bad mail artists. There are just less active and more active artists.
To persuade someone who doesn't write letters to start, I would just tell them how many great friendships I have formed through pen pal letter writing and how fun it is just to make these little letters. It's an art project, and it's a great way to spend an afternoon. It's a lot of fun, and you make great friends, so you might as well try it.
I would tell someone who doesn't write letters to persuade them to start that I will send them a letter first and they can write me back, and if they don't like it, then they don't have to keep going. But if one letter convinces them to change their idea about snail mail, then I think that that's enough.
I would say to someone who's never actually written a letter to send a note to somebody in their community. Hand deliver a note to someone. Write somebody a note that your barista or your hairdresser or your dentist or whoever. Give them a note and see how happy it makes them to receive something. And then once you see that, you'll get hooked.